which we were talking about, but should withstand and should compromise to these products. Good physical properties, root resistance, reflective jointless, easy application, flexible crack bridging, impervious, should take internal cracks. Whichever we discuss all these points, same thing is mentioned. Now, you can see a typical sketch which I've shown it to you on the right hand side. On a podium slide, we do a waterproofing, red color one. Then we have a concrete. Then we have a dimple board or the drain boards. Then you have geotextile. Then you have the archery. This is how the loading which happens on the concrete. So the red color one, what you see on the right hand side in the sketch is the waterproofing membrane, which is hardly 1.5. But that 1.5 mm thick should be able to withstand all these properties. So as per the ASTM, so we recommend 1.5. Landscape, where I was talking about 1 meter plus filling, where the roots are very hard, and also we recommend 2 mm because to withstand to have those properties, we recommend to go with 2 mm with a drain board. Why drain board? Because you have so much of filling, water is consumed there, and water is in part of the earth. So if when you have this drain board, so the earth will not come to the concrete, the membrane and damage. So the water will seep out. Now, uh, I don't know, Ashok, can I ask people questions in between because I don't know, it will be tough for them because it would have been better. But it's okay. I will take it up later. Now, if you see a red color structure, what you see on the right hand side, this is nothing but the way the podium is being used. Is used for that squares. What you see is for planter boxes. That vertical lines, what you see the marking, that is the barrication between the RSK. The other areas is land filling, and you have undesigned curves and lines and all. That is your water board. So this is how the podium is being used. And the red color, what you see there, is the waterproofing membrane which is applied. We have kept it. It's not a geometrical representation of anything. This is actual site photo tape. You can see a person at the corner at the 15 now carefully. At the bottom side, you can see 3-4 people doing the application. So what is the thing? Now, as I was talking about, the membrane should be able to withstand all. So liquid applied membranes will serve the purpose, which is nothing but the polyurethane which we have discussed. These are the same parameters what we have, limitations, what we have the moisture cured and limitations. Now coming to the wet areas. This is nothing but your toilets. And most of you, the moment I show you these photos, you will be able to somewhere visualize yourself, or somewhere you would have seen certain this type of photos. I think most of you would have at least would have seen or videos or something. So these are the problems what you face when you do not do a waterproofing at the right time. So what do we say? Right time to do a waterproofing when it is in paper. So before every installation happens, you do waterproofing on the blueprint. In the sense, GFC, good for construction drawing. So we need to do waterproofing. Now, in latest technology today, waterproofing is okay. I'll just come down to the direct points. Waterproofing is of two categories for toilets or wet areas. Now, earlier it was sunken areas where you have all the pipelines running and done. That was a normal construction of concrete and dissolve. But today we are doing the construction of concrete with Maiwan sheeting, that is aluminium sheeting or this type of sheeting, where the slabs and walls have been designed in such a way that everything is flat so that we can pour for one entire floor of concrete in one time. In this, the sunk areas has been disappeared. This would lead to a lot of confusion. So to do. So with this, we can talk about one more system in this. Now coming to the point. Importance of good wet area waterproofing system and what is the things. Internal walls of the toilet are exposed to water and moisture throughout the day, which may lead to the rising temperature. Large area of toilets expected to have structural movement and cracks. Yes. Hence the system need to have tensile strength and all this. So it should have a crack bridging, it should adhere to the concrete. seamless, it should be applied in water condition, it should be good elongation, drying, sagging, it should avoid sagging. These are the parameters. As I said, there are two types of waterproofing to be done, means areas. Now, I am introducing one more type of a liquid applied membrane called cementitious coating. We talked about all this time membranes, preformed membranes, HDP, polyurethane. This is a cementitious coating where we use the base as a cement and also we add additives to it, chemicals, so to make the coating which looks like a cement slurry, but it is a waterproof coating. This is normally used for this type of conditions because it can be applied in SSD condition. Because none of the other materials wouldn't work on this. This can be applied on SSD. There are few things. What happens is these are the materials. If you see on a blue packet on the top, this comes in a prefixed, ready to use material at the side. It's called two component material. This is one will be powder and other would be a liquid. Liquid is a mainly a chemical, which we have to mix it to get a thick slurry case, which has to be applied on a brush. But a normal layman, what happens when you're trying to mix, it cannot mix properly, keeps on adding water. So what happens when you add water? The thickness of the membrane gets reduced. So these are the few advantages, disadvantages of this, but it is practically we can be taken care. Now, when it comes to membrane of PU membrane, which I'm talking about from the type, which will be applied for the flat areas. As I said, there's one is sunken and the other one is flat area. Why do we have to apply flat areas a different material? Because when we apply a waterproofing coating, it should have high elongation in flat area. Reason is horizontal and vertical junctions is more and which may create a lot of dampness on the other side because there is no sun where it all the water can be accumulated. Here it is flat. So we need to have a high elongative material which can bridge the crack between the concrete and the masonry wall or suppression area boards. So this is what we were talking about and limitations I've discussed again and again. So I don't want to mention it again about the moisture content. Now, this was the things which we were discussing till now on the wet areas. Now let us talk about the roof. What is roof? What is the terrace? Now, today I'm just putting it in a very different way. As I said, roof is the only area which is exposed to sun full time. You will have a lot of heat ingress inside the below floors and subsequent floors. Now, I think most of you people know about HVAC. These are the things. How much is the energy consumed, whatever we electricity produce? How much is this energy consumed and how it has been differed? Now, if you talk about energy consumption, industries consume 42% of the electricity. Buildings consume 30. Agriculture hardly consumes 20. So now, a large share of this is the commercial buildings and industries because industries and buildings is coming under commercial, except the residential. Again, if you further bifurcate, in this, HVAC consumes 55% of electricity. Lighting consumes only 25. What is this 55%? This is to cool HVAC in your common if it is a centralized AC. You need more amount of in the summer to cool the substrate. So we are consuming 55% of our energy for HVAC. Now, due to this, the ECBC, Energy Conservation Building Code, the government of India came out, Ministry of Power came out with a code called ECBC. It is called Energy Conservation Building Code. What is this energy conservation? And most of the states, it's been made mandatory. And central government projects, it has to go as per the ECBC code. What does this ECBC code say? It is categorized into ECBC, ECBC plus, or super ECBC. So these are the different categories where when it goes to super ECBC, the energy consumption is reduced to larger extent. When it is in ECBC, again, where all it can be applied, building envelope, HVAC, lighting. But we need lighting, we cannot reduce lighting. Building envelope, we have already done. Now, electrical motors, renewable energy, yes, we are looking into solar energy and all. But HVAC still consumes the maximum amount. So, how can we reduce the consumption of HVAC, the electricity used or the energy consumed by this HVAC? Now, again on HVAC in a building, how does this affect? How does this heat come inside the building? 28% of the heat which is acquired, which is coming inside the building is from the roof. 45% of the heat which is coming are coming from the walls. Walls absorb the maximum amount of heat. And the remaining is 9% from windows and 8% from doors and all those things. So now, if I want to reduce my energy consumption, how do I reduce my energy? We need to reduce the intake, the ingress of heat inside the from the roof or from the wall because that is the maximum share. How do we do this? Now, you would have seen earlier days using China mosaic or Surki, brick pad cover, and all those things being used on top of the slab to keep this inside area cool. We use all this. But if you look at as a civil engineer on this, you know how much we are putting the slab under stress. This is giving to almost 50% of the actual slab thickness is at dead load. For example, today if I have structure is planned and constructed with 200 thick roof slab, when I do this brickbat cover, surki and all to be drying, it will need 110 to 125 thick filter, which is almost more than 55%, which is a dead load. So you are putting so much of dead load on the first part, so which tends to movement and all this. Second part, which has been over a period of time, which has been laid like this, it absorbs so much of water, and when it absorbs, some amount of water is evaporated, and most of the water comes down the slab, so which is again a leak. But there is no waterproofing done. We used to do this type of systems mainly to keep the roof cool. I was just mentioning what are the problems that we are talking about. Now we can replace this type of dead load or thickness and something with an insulator. Insulation is of foam, either a board. Normally, you would have seen thermocol boards, the white color boards kinds. A similar that is called EPS boards. The chemical terminology is called polystyrene boards. So, or polyurethane boards. So, this can be done inside where it will not allow the water to pass. Now, as I was talking, we were putting 100 to 125 thickness and the dead load so much. But when you replace it with this type of an insulation, which is a new technology for maybe some of you guys would have not heard, but it's just for knowledge sharing. This insulation is something when you do, it will take the load in such a way that you can't even imagine. Normal density of concrete is how much? 2300 to 2000. That is 2500 cubic meter density. You won't believe this insulation per cubic meter density is just 50 kg. Just right away reducing the entire dead load. Second thing, you do waterproofing on top of it, so you're giving the thing. And it also gives the values of what the brickbat or something, the conventional systems, what used to be, the cooling values. This system, which is replaced, the new technology, will give you 100 times better. This is the technology which I'm talking to. So as I said, as per ECBC and NCB National Board Building Code, it says you can use the waterproofing in sorry insulation. So as per SP 7 2005, this is again a code. How do we do this? This a cross section which I kept it on the left hand side. It's in a slab. You do a green color is the insulation. Do one layer of waterproofing and lay the concrete laid to slope. Yes, we anything what we do, we need to put a concrete on the top of it to slope to drain out the water, or else it will have so much of water accumulation. So this is one system which I just wanted to share with you for better understanding of the new technology of waterproofing with insulation. Now, on top of it, and we can also look at doing a different type of waterproofing on existing roof, which we were talking on this on new constructed buildings. If there is an old constructed building which is leaking, which is done with brick bat or something, we can still go with a new level of coatings called solar reflective coatings. This is nothing but as per the technology which has high reflectance values. Means it will reflect back the heat, it will reflect back the sunlight, not allowing to pass through the concrete. So as per, I think there is a value which has to be noted when we do this type of coating. It is called SRI value. What do you mean by SRI? That is the solar reflective index. Means solar reflective index is it is reflecting back so much of value of heat. And the minimum value what normally people is looking at as per the code it says 93. There's no parameter or it's not having any essay in it, it's just a value 93. But most of the materials which has been used today which will have a value of more than 100, which is very much good. And it has high elongation and it can reach, and so there is no leakage and still you can get a better cooling effect. Now, as Ashok was talking about today, everything is revolving around green and everybody. So most of these chemicals, the moment you see chemicals, everybody thinks whether how can it become green? How can it be uh, renewable and all? Yes, most of the products what we spoke about are all under in such a way that is renewable. It has less amount of chemical or volatile organic compounds VOC. So we are also one of the GRIA Council members, and most of our products are Pidilite industry products are certified by the Green Building Council. Ashok, do we have some more time? Ashok?
How much time you require?
I just want to share them a few technologies. Just another 5 minutes or 10 minutes maximum.
Please proceed.
This is the system. What I'm talking about now is the way the technology is evolving and the new concepts which is coming up now. So that putting into that, so I just want to give you a, as I said earlier, the heat ingress comes from the roof and also from the wall. Wall has the maximum amount of ingress, which is having 55% of absorption of heat. Now there is a new technology which is evaluating, which has already been in usage in European countries, American and Middle East, because of both cold and extreme hot. To avoid this coming inside, so they use insulation of the walls. This is, but in India, it's a new technology. I'm just sharing you for your better technology experience and to know about the technical knowledge. What does this external wall insulation mean? I'm just giving a sketch or a diagram showing the layer. Now, first thing what you see is a normal brick or block wall masonry, which has been used for our walls. Next, what we do is a plastering, right? Then either this is where the system ends, but on top of it would be the normal paint. In between now, this new technology where we put the insulation systems, where we make the ingress of either heat or cold, both the way, it will not be there so that sorry, consumption of energy is reduced, the electrical part is reduced to a larger extent. Just want to share you. With this, what do we do is we put a plaster. On top of the plaster, we put an insulation board and do a final finish. Now, when you see from the outside, you won't be even finding out there is an insulation done on the wall. You get entire range of the finish the way you want. Whatever the normal paint finishes you get everything, you can do the same finish on top of it. And when you have been taken this on a thermal sensor and checked out, see the way it differs. Non-insulated building, interior insulation and exterior insulation. When you do an exterior insulation, the heat ingress inside the building is totally reduced. This is on a infrared camera taken. Okay. So I just want to give you a pictorial representation. Prepared substrate, you put insulation material boards, which is fixed to the concrete on the wall like this boards, and we fix some anchors to keep it in place. We fix some anchors like this, then do one more layer of plastering to get a smooth finish. Put a mesh is only to get a physical impact, because if there's any damage, because the board is very lightweight material, to avoid the damage, if somebody stands on it, somebody comes and hits the vehicle, to avoid the physical impact and the thing, so we add this tapes and do the finish. This is how your system looks like. On a typical sketch, if you look at, this would be the thickness. Depending upon your requirement, the thickness also varies. But you will never ever see this was done. I just want to share you this. As I said, this is a technology which is coming up in India. We are doing one of the projects in Delhi, near Delhi Faridabad. I'm just showing the pictorial photos which has been laid at the site. Now, the next one last thing I just want to talk about, new technology which is coming up in car parking, is the car park coating. I don't know much about it, so that's it. So I'm done, Ashok. So we can take up the questions.
Yeah,
I think I'm on time. I think I've delayed by 10 minutes, I believe.
not an issue.